What is going on, everybody? I was muted. Welcome to another Games Talk Live podcast. I am here and I am slightly off center in the video. Wow. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, I don't know. Discord loves me, Hargeet. They always do this to me. Anyways, welcome, Hargeet. How have you been this week? What have you been playing? And what have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been basically just playing Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which I think I'm like at the end. It's in the last chapter, so finishing that up. My 2 terabyte memory expansion on my Xbox died, so I
What?
had to get a replacement. Yeah, so now I have to like figure out what the heck I had installed there, and I have to re-download it, which kind of sucks. But whatever. Thankfully, it's Xbox, so all the stuff is cloud save, so it doesn't really matter. But I just have to remember which freaking games were downloaded. But anyway, whatever. So,
Wow.
but other than that, I've been just playing Infinite. Well, thankfully that game was installed in the internal instead of the external, so no issues there. It's just it keeps going, but yeah, it kind of sucks.
Yeah. How do you like the game? Oh, that's right. You said that you didn't like the combat, huh?
I don't like the turn-based. I don't. It's just not the same. Story-wise, it's good. I won't spoil anything. You just have to play them. The Yakuza series is so like emotionally in depth. Like it's sad how many people don't play that series, but you really should. It's definitely one of the better series in gaming. But hey, whatever.
He's like, whatever. Yeah, as for me, I've just been playing PoE 2 still. Playing a lot of that. And I am getting to the point where it's kind of hard to get any real upgrades. And I think this is one of the things that I will say about the game that in a negative way is that a lot of the currency and stuff in the game is very sparse. And in order to get like real upgrades for, exactly what you need, unfortunately, it seems like you have to play the trade sites with people and you have to like go find exactly what you need and then trade in-game currency for this stuff. But the in-game currency is so sparse and they want so much of it for each item that it just becomes a point where you're like just farming for currency just so you can go to the trade site and hope that they have what you need and for the right price. And that is an issue because you kind of want, well, you do want that stuff within game. Like you don't want to have to leave the game to go to a site to make sure you get the right gear and stuff. That is kind of my biggest point of contention with the game. But outside of that, there's very little that I fault with the game so far. And this is all stuff they can fix, of course. They've already upped the drop rate for some currencies, but they need to do it more for others. And hopefully they get to that, because I think that's going to be a big point of contention, not just with myself, but with a lot of people out there. I think a lot of people are kind of annoyed by that. Just got a $1.99 super chat from Ron G2665. Thank you very much for stopping by, Ron. He says, DisplayPort or HDMI for PC gaming, and why your choice? Technically, what's the difference there, Hargeet, since you're more tech savvy than I am?
I don't know if you get audio over DisplayPort, do you? I think you have to use HDMI. That just depends on what you're using for audio, though, right? So I think DisplayPort is just video. I don't think it matters, by the way. Overall, I don't think it really matters. You can pick whichever one you want. But I mean, I've been using HDMI because I just hook it up to a TV. But if you have DisplayPort, totally fine.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I use HDMI myself. I've used DisplayPort. I've tried it anyway. Didn't have any problems with it or anything. It's just kind of a choice thing, really. I I use an external audio device anyway, so I don't, I didn't catch that difference if it came to any with the audio between HDMI and DisplayPort. It sounds kind of about right though. If it's called DisplayPort, it's probably just the display.
Yeah.
But I think that
I think
there's
it does carry some level of audio, right? I'm looking at it.
maybe,
And it does
but
seem to carry some level of audio.
and maybe it's higher bandwidth. I'm not sure. Maybe it's overall like the best thing to
I
use,
don't
but
think it is.
no, yeah. So, I don't know.
think it has any difference. Yeah.
I don't try to like that's why I went to you, because you're more tech savvy than I am with this stuff. I don't want to try to be the guy who pretends that he knows everything about tech, right? Yeah, don't want to be that guy. As far as everything else going on around right now, I'm just fixing some camera issues right now. I mean, in the gaming scene and everything, we've got a lot of good topics to talk about today. I'm actually very kind of excited to talk about a particular subject where I'm kind of vindicated in a way, and it's kind of silly to say, I want to be vindicated over something I've said about gaming or whatever, but when you get a lot of hate thrown towards your way, a lot of people are constantly saying like, why do you keep bringing this up, or why do you? It's because of certain individuals out there within the community, a lot of them actually, that come after you for saying certain things, and these things are going to come to fruition, and when they do, it's like, yeah, of course I'm going to bring it back up after you have like brought the pitchforks out on me. Of course I will. But that said, we'll talk about that a little later. Let's get into our very first topic of the day, and that, of course, is NVIDIA cards. Let's talk about these NVIDIA cards that were shown off this week. Of course, NVIDIA took to the stage at CES, I believe, right? And they brought out their 50 series cards, talked about them, price, and apparently, Hargeet, the 50 series cards are so good that their 5070 cards are going to kill a 4090, according to some expert console basement dwellers. They have it on high authority.
It's not the pisser that's going to destroy it. I thought.
No. Well, we'll get to that, because that is something, because and they were saying this. Well, they were saying this because as if this is somehow a win they could have over PC gamers. Finally, they're like, we got you. You bought that 4090. Look at the 5070 for $550. It's just as good. And it's like, no, slow down. You don't know what you're talking about.
But
no, they don't know what they're talking about, because it's not true. It's not true.
And it's DLSS that's doing a lot of that heavy lifting. It's not
we'll get into that. Yeah.
But anyway, whatever.
Yeah. So, and apparently some of these basement dwellers have even exclaimed now the PS5 Pro is better than the current 40 series GPUs, including the 4090. So go figure. I don't know how do they get to these mathematics in their heads, the mental gymnastics they have
because
to
they have
through.
to.
I don't get it.
That's it. It's just that simple. We need some flopflation.
If only the American public school system did not fail them. If only they did not fail them. They fell for corporate speak in this regard when we're talking about the 5070. NVIDIA, of course, they're going to try to hype their new cards up. And the 5070 for the price is a decent card. But it's only sitting at 16 gigs of RAM, which is kind of paltry. I guess that would be fine for the 5070 series, but even the 5080 is sitting at 16 gigs. And I was thinking that was going to jump up to 24, and then you have the 5090 at 32 gigs of VRAM. But that did not happen. You got the 32 gigs on the 5090, and you're going to pay the hefty price tag for that too. It's $2,000. But it's like NVIDIA gave us kind of the illusion that they're selling these cards at a deep discount, but they're really, really great cards. And if you look at it, the percentage-wise of rasterization or raw GPU power is slightly above the current cards. It's not an extreme difference. What they really focused on here is their AI feature set. Yet again, DLSS, frame gen in particular. And as you know, if you've listened to me talk, I do not like frame gen whatsoever. I don't like these fake frames. I don't like what they bring with them, the anomalies, the graphic anomalies, and the latency. It's just not a great thing to me. And now they're just like, this is multi-frame gen now. The 5070 cards, they can get like performance of a 4090
Yeah.
with all this stuff turned on, with quadruple the frame gen. And it's like, that's not telling the whole story there when you try to just say a blanket statement. Oh, it's just as good as a 4090.
Yeah,
It's not.
we need to, just like with the PS5 Pro, wait till it comes out. We'll
Mhm.
see what the actual,
Yeah.
tests do for us, and we'll see what it means, right? Maybe the tech is really good, but until you see it in practice,
And
you
here's
know,
what
you
we've
might
seen
as well
so
just-
far. We've seen outlets get their hands on it and actually show what these cards can do right now with certain games, Cyberpunk being one of them. They still have those graphic anomalies I do not like with frame gen. So I will not use it anyway, just like I don't use it on the 4090 anyway. And when you're talking raw power to raw power, cut the frame gen out of it, the only thing that beats a 4090 is a 5090. Period. I just want to make sure you guys understand that, because I don't want my audience to run around saying the wrong thing like these people out there, these basement dwellers that know
What's
everything
the
about tech.
I haven't
apparently.
looked, but what's the 5080? What is it as far as T-flops?
I don't know about the T-flop situation. I don't really, because I don't carry that so much weight in T-flops. I think I look more at the VRAM. I look more at what it can actually do when I'm seeing these demos and stuff. T-flops is just a small part of the equation, and as we've seen, T-flops don't tell the whole story. I mean, we've seen that with the Series X. We've seen it with the PS5 Pro now. It's just, I don't know. It's just weird.
It's 56. Yeah, it's not. It's not.
Yeah. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is fact. I've talked to many people who are in the know about tech,
Yeah.
and they all say the same thing. The
the
only thing that beats a
4090
4090 is a
83.
5090.
Yeah,
That's it.
The 4090 is a 83 T-flop machine, and the 5090 is 135. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
they're getting
the
like
5080 is 56. What did I say? 53, 56?
with the
Yeah,
multi.
it's nowhere near good.
If you're into the frame gen thing, the multi frame gen is getting you like over twice the amount of frames. Like you're getting like
Yeah.
200 plus frames in Cyberpunk with path ray tracing with that multi-frame gen on, opposed to like 120 frames. Now, again, I wouldn't use that anyway, but when you turn off frame gen on both of them, you know what the difference is? Like 10 frames. 10 frames. It's not by much. So they give you that illusion that these cards are at a discounted
Software,
price
right?
for
That's
something
the whole
so
point.
awesome. And yeah, and this probably harkens back to the conversation I had with Jason Ronald, where he says that hardware is getting to the point where we're at a point where we're not really progressing as much, and it's the software that is pushing the hardware and giving it more leverage, or
Point of like how much can you
evolution.
really drive, right? That's the thing. How much can you really drive? But yeah, the 5090 is a beast. It's really crazy. Just raw grunt. It has a lot of it. So if you want to buy it, great. I haven't seen
wouldn't tell
enough to make
nobody
me
not to
want
buy
it
it,
yet. But you know what? We'll see. Again,
Yeah,
I'm
could
gonna wait
change.
for it to come out. I want to see all the the bells and whistles of what it does, right? And then we'll go from there. But right now, like a lot of those features that are coming, by the way, are going to be backward compatible back to our cards too. So we're gonna get a lot of the features, not the multi-frame gen. I think that one's locked to the RTX 50. But a lot of the stuff they're adding, we're getting it in the 40 series. I
Yeah,
think
we're
even in
getting
the 30
DLSS
series.
4. Yeah.
So like, whatever, we're gonna we'll take advantage of those features. Why not? Right? So we just suddenly get a boost, right, on our current cards. But look, the 4090 is a freaking beast. It's the
Oh, dude,
83 T-flops is
I'm
crazy.
not planning on upgrading for quite some time, many years. Shout out to Mav, fun speculation in the chat. Good to see you, Mav. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. It's good to see you. Got to have you on the show soon. But yeah, speaking of this week and game news and stuff, Well, we got a super chat here. Ron G again says having DisplayPort 2.1 is a big thing on 5090. Okay, if you have a
Yeah,
5090,
2.1 would have a lot more bandwidth, right? Because it's a newer spec. But yeah, but again, it's if you are going to actually take advantage of that, that's fair enough.
I agree. Hargeet, did you hear that Assassin's Creed Shadows, when it does drop, is going to be launching perfect, no bugs, no issues whatsoever? Because,
Oh, right.
yeah, it's going to be, all that stuff is going to be completely eradicated. It's going to come out in perfect shape. Did you hear this? Me either. Me
No,
either. I
what
didn't
I
hear that.
heard is that it's being delayed,
It's being
but
delayed.
yeah, right.
It's being
But
delayed
yeah,
again.
for more fixes.
So this is what they had to say. They said, they took to social media and they said, as part of the renewed focus on gameplay quality and engaging day one experiences. Oh, they have a renewed focus on this. Finally, they're telling us, a company is saying, hey, we're going to try to make a game less bug free or less buggy than previous games. It's weird. Why would you say this? It has been decided, they said, to provide an additional month of development to Assassin's Creed Shadows. So now, instead of February, we had such a busy month in February, so many games coming out. I'm kind of glad it's alleviated a bit. There's a lot of games in February.
Moving it to March.
So
Yeah.
they're moving it to March 20, which is, thank you. I'm actually liking that they did that, just based on that alone. Do I believe it's going to be bug-free? Hell no. I don't believe that. What do you suspect was the reason for the move, actually? Like, you think it's a
Uh,
mess?
I mean, there is some potential that it's just contention, right? They didn't want to compete with the other games that are coming out in right around the same time, and they just want to kind of go in their own like time window. And maybe they do just have bugs. I don't know, but I'm gonna guess it's really they just wanted to move it because there's too many games coming out at the same time frame, and try to like have their own little lane, right? So,
That's what I'm thinking.
um, but yeah, they're saying it's gonna be one of those pivotal games. If it doesn't do well, they're in trouble. But then again, they keep saying that. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how well this is gonna go. We'll see. There's a lot of controversy with this game. So we'll see how well it sells. Good
Yeah,
luck to them.
I put a poll up in the chat. I'm asking, are you upset by the delay, the 1 month delay of AC Shadows? I've come to the point for myself that I am no longer upset. And I haven't been for years when a game gets delayed, because I think a game getting delayed is more, it's more important for it to get fixed and whatever they need to do. If the developer says they need more time, I'm always for it. Like, go ahead, do what you need to do. I'm not their publisher, and of course, as a consumer, I want a good product when it launches. So I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Um, and yeah, so there was that bit of news, but there was also, let's talk about something good here. We can talk about the Switch 2.
Ooh, next
Apparently, there's
Friday.
been a leaker that has come out to talk. I know they have a thing that's supposed to be shown on the 17th. Nintendo, they might they're going to do some sort of announcement, but this leaker that has apparently leaked the original, the PS5 Pro launch date, and he's gotten something else right. He's come out, and I've got it up here. Let me put it on the screen. He says, I have dates for y'all. 17th of January, 2025. Launch day is March 3rd for the Switch. Launch titles are Mario Kart 9. Great one. Great one. Red Dead Redemption 2. Amazing. And an announcement trailer for 3D Mario. Retail price in Canada will be $400, which means here it should be about $300.
300 or 350, but we'll see.
Three
We'll see.
350. What do you think of the price? I think the price is good.
I think it's cheaper than I expected. I thought it was
Yeah,
going to be $400 US.
same.
But we will see. We'll see. We'll see what they do with it.
This is true.
Yeah. So I don't know about the price. I still think it'd probably be $400. But if it's cheaper, that's awesome. That's really awesome. That's maybe that's competition pushing them to actually come in lower, right? Because now there are other handhelds out there, and Microsoft's apparently making theirs, right? So there's other stuff out there. So maybe they decided to make it cheaper. But I thought they were gonna go in with a $400 price, which is realistic, right, for what they're offering. But Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming on that console, which in other words, like, yes, all the third-party games are coming. They're gonna be on that box.
Yeah, you know what?
So
Speaking of that, though, I had a conversation with Colt the other day about this, Zocker as well. We were talking about this, and because a lot of people are out there thinking about the Switch power, the current Switch, and how third-party games weren't being able to be ported there, and then the next Switch possibly being just like having the power of, say, a PS4. That's the rumor. And they were saying, well, how can we get today's games on those things? And one of the things I brought up was, think about it. What do we see today that's really so different from last gen? Most of the games that we played this gen can be played on last gen hardware. So,
yeah.
and again, they're using DLS AI tech. They're going to use that to its full advantage, so they can go ahead and give us better upscaling, frame rates, that sort of thing. So they're going to do that. And I just look, I don't see any game this generation that couldn't be put on the Switch 2. And I think the Switch 2 will get all the multiplats.
From what we understand, it has more memory than the Series S. It may not have the full grunt of a Series S, but it's going to be pretty close. And then you have DLSS on top of that, right? So, I mean, why wouldn't it be able to run everything? You got the Steam Deck, and that's a pretty low-end machine in comparison. But it works. A lot of games run on it just fine. Now, you may not get the same frame rates as you get on the other machines, but so what? It runs a game. That's it. That's all you need. It runs a game, right? So, what the hey, right?
Yeah,
The assumption that it has to perform like it's like on a Series X or like on a freaking 4090, it does not. People just want to be able to play games. It plays the game. Awesome. That's it. You can get it on there. Why not?
Are you excited for some of these games that he's talking about here?
Mario Kart and Metroid
9?
Prime 4, by the way, that's going to be coming with it, right? So there's a bunch of other games too. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. Can't wait till and I want to see what they do with like the older games. Are they going to do like an upscale or upres? Using DLSS, can they upscale some of their?
That's
their
true.
games
I didn't even think about that.
Right, that would be awesome, right? Just in line, just hey, we'll just upres your games, just like Xbox says, right? Backwards compatibility, just upres the games. Like hell yeah, why not, right? Let's see if they can do that.
Contrary to what a lot of you might believe, I actually like some Nintendo games. I used to be a huge fan of Nintendo when I was a kid, but even today, Mario Kart, Mario Party are main staples during gatherings, family coming over and stuff. We play those games, and so hearing that Mario Kart 9 is coming, hell yeah, bring it on. So we'll definitely have a Switch 2 in the home as well, because we got Switches. We play those games at parties and stuff.
Can't wait.
9 Lives in the chat says that this gen has been disappointing. When it comes to like next gen games, I agree with you. I am not that hyped on a lot of these games. But get used to it, because I don't think we'll ever see that leap that we've seen even last generation to, going from the Xbox One to the Xbox One X. That jump in graphical fidelity was probably the biggest we'll see in many years to come. I don't see that happening. Because I mean, where are we going to go?
Fidelity things, but like, yeah, we're kind of at a point of like, how much better is it going to get? Hellblade 2 is very, very good, right? So, there's probably a little room for improvement from that, but how much more are you going to get? Really, it's already good enough.
Yeah, it's diminishing
right? You
returns.
Just get higher frame
point.
rates. Yeah, you get higher frame rates. You get maybe more particle effects, things like that. But
yeah. And that stuff looks cool, and you can definitely tell and say, oh, yeah, there's more going on in this game than I've seen in last generation. But when it comes to the overall graphical presentation, it's much the same as the One X, to be honest. Like, you're not getting much in terms of resolution and stuff like that. It's really what you're saying, Hargeet.
Pretty
It's more the frame
amazing
rates.
machine, right?
Yeah, the One X
what
was
it
just
pulled off.
incredible.
Yeah.
I still think it's one of the best consoles that's ever been created. The One X was really
But
really good.
I mean, I'm not disappointed with the gen. I guess if you're looking for specifically a jump in graphical fidelity and stuff like that, maybe it's not that great, but there's been plenty of games that have been pretty good.
Oh hell
Has
yeah!
it been at the same clip? No. Right? That's one of my pet peeves though. Is like 360 gen was the pinnacle of gaming because you had so many games coming out at good fidelity all the time. Right? You had whole trilogies come out that generation. Right? That does not happen anymore. So that's the downside, but
Yeah,
outside of that, we're getting a lot of games. We're definitely getting a lot of games. So
we're getting good games as well. Like again, I'm playing PoE2 early access, and it's a phenomenal ARPG. But I understand how a lot of people are looking at this gen and not really seeing that next gen graphic fidelity game, and it's like, yeah, I don't think we're
yeah,
gonna get that. We're at the point where, when you look at games like Hellblade 2, that's really the pinnacle of graphic fidelity that we're gonna see. And 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 it's fantastic. There's nothing to say negatively on that. It's just it's where we're at. I mean, frame rates is really what I see and what I tend to like to gravitate to when I play these games. I love being able to up the frame rates now. It's I don't know, and we're going to see more of that even on console going forward. Let's get into according. Okay, so this is kind of actually, let's talk about this first. Let's talk about Xbox and their developer direct 2025. Apparently, it's right around the corner, being on the 23rd. That's just next week. Hargeet, what have we heard will be there at this developer direct?
2 weeks out, right? But
2 weeks out.
yeah, I mean they're showcasing South of Midnight, Doom, and then they have Expedition 33 there, and then they have a box with 9 questions, like 9 question marks, and I don't know what studio that is, but they're saying it's an unannounced new game. So we'll see that, and then
Nice.
usually they have 5, so there's probably going to be an insert right in the middle of it, and we'll probably see something else, but maybe not. But that's what they've been doing. So we'll see if that happens. But yeah, I don't know what that unannounced new game is. That's exciting to see something we don't know anything about, right? To see what the heck it's
Do
going
we
to
know
be.
the studio at all or no? Just
No, that will be the 11 question marks. That is the studio name, and no idea, right? There's plenty of studios that have that
is it an
meet
Xbox
that, right? But
studio?
it doesn't have to be. It can be a
Doesn't
third
have to
party,
be.
right?
Dang.
It doesn't have to because Expedition 33, right? That's not an an Xbox studio.
No, no.
So
Man,
they did Visions
I'm
of
sitting
Mana
here
last
thinking
time.
about it, and
So
it's kind of nice to. We've got so many games coming out in 2025 that we already know about. So
yeah,
hearing of a brand new game we have not heard be announced is pretty
yeah,
awesome. It's pretty awesome. It's exciting.
yeah.
What do you guys
Be
in the
awesome
chat
to
think
see what
it's
the
going
heck
to
it is.
be? Let me know in the chat, by the way. Type in what you think that unannounced game might be. Let your imagination go wild. Just type it up in there. What would you like to see that to be? What would you like?
I mean, it's interesting that they have it being like the television no signal screen, right? That's what they're showing. It's not like it's just black. That would normally be just white, right? Something just blank. Nope, they actually have that, and you're like, well, that means it probably is at a certain time era, right? When that actually meant something. So maybe it's a game that's set in that time frame. And the first game that came to mind was Contraband, but that's announced, so we already know about it, right? So it can't be that. But I don't like it. Could be any one of many things. There's so many studios that fit in that 11 characters that it could be Double Fine, it could be Iron Galaxy with the Killer Instinct or something. But would Killer Instinct have that screen? Double Fine might. It might have a game that's kind of in that era, and therefore maybe that's what it is, right?
Well, it could
Um,
also just be a blank screen because they don't want to tell you what's on you going to be on your TV. You know, I don't know. Just could be.
I mean, normally it would just be like a black square or a white square, right? And then you don't have any, but they specifically have this weird, television signal thing, right?
And of course,
So
just to see Doom, I cannot wait to see Doom.
yeah,
That's one of the most anticipated games of 2025 for many people, including myself. It's Doom. It's the Dark Ages. That Doom. It's funny. I was never a huge Doom fan, but after playing Doom 2016, then Doom Eternal, like Doom is amazing. So I can't wait to play
so
that one.
yeah, so there you go, right? And it's gonna be hopefully a good direct. But we'll see what that surprise is. It's actually kind of cool to have something to look forward to, where you have no idea what it is, right? Like, oh,
For
this is
sure.
cool. So, it'll be awesome to see what the heck it is. A couple of weeks out. Hey, we have the Nintendo thing first, and then, Xbox is gonna show their thing. And oh, by the way, since Xbox put something out, right? There's the obligatory negative news. All games are going to PlayStation.
Okay.
We must have news articles.
We'll definitely get into that. Well, we'll get into that after we talk about this a bit.
T-minus 24 hours.
For sure. We'll get about that. We'll
The
talk
rumor
about that
mill starts.
because there's a lot of validity to these statements and where it's coming from and stuff. But let's go ahead and keep focus on this Developer Direct 2025 first. I'm excited to see more on Expedition 33 myself as well. This is a turn-based game that it just looks really good. Like it looks like it has a great narrative. It good gameplay, graphics, all that. It looks like a really good game. So I can't wait to see more of that. South of Midnight, of course, looks good. Yeah, I can't think of what this game could be. Somebody in the chat, Raichi, said that they're hoping for Beyond Good and Evil 2 or Blinks the Time Sweeper. Get out of here with Blinks the Time Sweeper. Get out of here with Blinks the Time Sweeper. That Blinks the Time Sweeper was horrible. I hated that game.
It's a Ubisoft, but what's the studio that's doing that work?
Doing what work?
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Beyond Good and Evil 2? I don't know.
I know it's Ubi, but
shout out to Boba Fett Gaming in the chat. I see you.
Let's see if I can find out.
Yeah,
it's Ubisoft Montpellier. So I don't think that would fit, would it? So it's not 11 characters, in other words.
The 11 characters, is that the studio or is that the name of the game?
That's the studio.
That's a studio. But there's so many out there that probably fit within that 11 character window.
There are. And so could be any one of them. We don't know. It could be a surprise. It's a third party, multi-plat game. It could be a first party game. We don't know. There's so many options. So
it's Square Enix. It's a new game from Square Enix. No.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. And chat, thank you for yeah, exactly. Other people are laughing about the Blinks mention. God, Blinks was horribad. Did not like that one. Then again, I didn't like a lot of those types of games back in the day. I was in my early adult, like, I hate anything that looks cutesy stage. And yeah, I didn't like it.
Thankfully, I never had that problem. I just play games.
Yeah, no, I know you like that. No, now I can play stuff like Astrobot and stuff, but like when I was in my early 20s, mid 20s, I did not. I was like, I'm not playing that. What? That's for kids. Yeah, no. Gaming is gaming. It's all fun.
Exactly.
It's a new Malice game. Malice. A lot of 40-year-olds with faulty memories. Yeah, I do have a faulty memory, and I'm closing in on 50, unfortunately. Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's talk about that. The interesting story that had come up from Nate the Hate, somebody who is predicted a lot of
Yes.
stuff. He's leaked a lot of stuff out there that has come to fruition. Has come out and said,
That has not, by the way, just to be fair. A lot that has not. There's a lot of shit that he says that's just absolutely false. But hey,
are
whatever.
you talking about the Starfield thing?
About many things that he comes
Okay.
up with are
The
bullshit. But
Starfield
it
thing
doesn't
is,
matter.
I believe the Starfield thing is still in the works for PlayStation.
Yeah,
Um,
who knows? Until it's done, who knows?
so
But fair enough.
according to him, the other day he had a podcast. He does a podcast on his channel. You can find it, Nate the Hate. Him and Randall Thor was on there, and they were talking. Which, by the way, Randall Thor hears a lot of this stuff too. And if you listen to Randall Thor during his podcast, Randall Thor is kind of just backing him up like he knows. I got that from him anyway, listening. He says that Microsoft Flight Simulator, Gears 1 and 2, the new UE5 remakes, and Halo Master Chief Collection will be coming to the PlayStation 5 and Switch 2 this year. And I just want to add a little bit of, you know, if this does happen, I'm going to tell you I told you so concerning Gears and Halo, because I've heard this rumor for a long time from people that know people. And I know a lot of you are probably going to be like, you don't hear, you don't know anything. You can go ahead and say that all you want. But I heard about Indiana Jones 2 months before it happened. I heard about Master Chief Collection months ago. And when I heard it again, just a couple of months back, I went to different podcasts. I went into their chats to tell them, hey, this is what I'm hearing. And I got a lot of hate from the community telling me to go away. You're just talking shit, blah, blah, blah. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay. And I did the same thing about Indiana Jones. And people did the same thing to me. Hargeet, you, matter of fact, even in the Iron Lords podcast, when I heard it, you said, no, I don't think that's going to happen. And I was like, Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation 5, and it's going to be
No,
a
that I
3-month.
agreed. I thought it was going to happen. It was a
The
question of where they would announce it. And it
yeah,
was like,
no,
damn, they're going to announce that at Gamescom?
no,
That's cheesy.
here-
But okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
Here's the thing, and this was a couple months ago. I just want to show this, just to prove to you guys I do in fact hear things. So you can see 4 months ago. 4 months ago, you read that. 4 months ago, ILP. You can look it up and read everything I said before this. I said Indy on a 3-month delay, folks, because everybody was trying to speculate. There's a big game going to PS5. What is it? What could it be? And I kept telling them, hey, I've already heard it's Indiana Jones. And nobody believed me in this chat. Nobody. King David did not believe me. He said I was completely false. And I said, I know what I heard, and I know
But
who
it's
I
not a
heard it
3-month
from.
delay either, to be fair. But
Well, this is what they said. It was a few months of delay, and I just went with 3. I said, okay, 3. Few is 3. So I put it out there. I said, yeah, this is going to happen. And I didn't know it was going to be announced at Gamescom. I had no idea about that. I just knew what I heard from somebody that talks to a lot of people with an Xbox, and I was like, I believe this guy. He's told me things in the past. And again, same person told me about Halo Master Chief Collection. I believe it's happening. I believe it's happening. I believe at this point, you should just expect to see Xbox games, whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to PlayStation, no matter what.
And Nintendo.
Is. And Nintendo. They're just a third-party publisher. They want to make money. And I know some people don't want to hear this in the Xbox community, but this is the truth.
And we'll see if it makes money, to be honest.
Just wants to sell
so
their
far
games
it's been
everywhere.
PlayStation doesn't buy games, so we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what they do with it. I don't know what it'll do over there, but we'll see.
Yeah. And so I think that, this is again, it wasn't a shocker to me, especially you know what was kind of shocker to me? The Flight Simulator, because that came out of nowhere. I didn't hear that at all. I didn't hear about Flight Simulator. But
do you think that's do well over there?
I don't think it's gonna. Not really.
I don't think it's gonna do
I
anything
don't.
over there.
Especially on Switch. Like what?
I
Like
think it's gonna do shit on PlayStation. Like, who
I
on
don't think it'll do
PlayStation is
well.
gonna play
I don't.
Flight Sim?
Halo
Like,
Master Chief, I think
it's
will
a
do very
PC.
well over there. Gears,
I
I
think
think
it'll
will
do
do
shit over
very
there.
well. I think it'll do very
I think
well.
both of those will flop over there. I don't think it's gonna do shit.
So. I don't think so.
Really? I got an answer for you, and that would be this guy. They didn't even play their own game. Sorry, but they're not gonna buy an old
Okay,
ass
so
game.
you're making a good.
They're not doing it. They're not doing it. Their PlayStation does not buy games. I'm sorry, they don't buy games. Why do you have to do that to me?
Why do you have to put up a fact like that? Why do you have to do that, Hargeet? God,
sorry, but
you,
it's reality.
Hargeet.
It's reality.
You,
they don't buy games. They don't buy games. And they're not going to go buy an Xbox game for $70, $60 on their platform. They're not going to do it.
Speaking of buying
games,
games,
they bought 1 million copies of Sea of Thieves. There was over 15 million sold on Steam alone of that game. So no, they're not going to support these games. They're just not.
Okay, so
that's just not them.
Speaking of buying games, did you see that report that showed Marvel Rivals and the amount they've made off of each platform? How goofy it was. Okay, so it said that Marvel Rivals on Steam made a boatload of money. I forgot the exact percentage.
Obviously, right? I mean,
but then
half a million players or more, right? That's like all the time.
PlayStation had like 10%. Of what the total revenue was. And Microsoft, Xbox, had 2%. They were trying to say that Xbox barely, they didn't buy anything within Marvel Rivals, right? They're not buying anything. And so I was thinking to myself, man, that looks really bad. And then you read what it says there. It says they took this information because based off of the reviews, the user reviews of Rivals. How many people reviewed it? Only 2% reviewed it, so that's what they ran with. They didn't run with any real numbers here. They're just throwing shit on a wall and seeing what sticks. They're not even playing fair here.
Wow.
Like they got real numbers from the other two, real legit freaking numbers, but this number comes out of their ass when it comes to talking about user reviews. Like, I'm sorry, but not everybody reviews games.
No. This is the last platform that gets reviews. They just usually have them on PC or PlayStation.
But user reviews, do you often review games on your Xbox? I don't. I've never done it.
So they're looking at how many people reviewed it on the Xbox store?
Yes. They said 2% and they ran with it. And that's the number they gave. That is just ridiculous, right?
Gotta love it.
And I'm not somebody here to defend Xbox fanatics or whatever, but when I see something that is just really stupid to even put out there, I've got to call it out. I think it's really stupid to put that out there. Like, wait till you get actual factual numbers, revenue numbers based on each platform before you put out this article talking about that. Like, you don't take the real factual numbers from the other two and then go, well, we don't have the revenue for Xbox, but how many people reviewed it? Oh, 2%. Okay. Yeah. Only those people bought it, and only those people, paid into, not bought it, but paid into microtransactions and stuff because it's a free-to-play game. It's stupid. I think people need to just relax. Why do you have to write articles like this? Why do you have to put any kind of stat out like this when it makes zero sense?
Because they need money, so they clickbait you with whatever they write. So it is what it is, whatever. But as far as those games going over there,
because it was stupid
and selling, I don't know. I don't know that they will do well over there. If hopefully they sell like 1 million-ish, it's something, but I don't expect them to do well over there. They're not a multiplayer console. It's just the way it is. Like, they play Call of Duty and Fortnite, I guess, but they're not. They didn't support their own game. They don't do it. It's just not them.
Well, they're not big on multiplayer games traditionally. It seems that way, right? It is. I mean, most people look at it and they go, "Well, that's the box that you buy to, play the single player action adventures, that sort of thing."
So the
But
games
they
that
do
might
have a lot of
work over
people
there,
that
they have
play
Hellblade 2
COD.
supposedly.
A lot of
Well,
people play COD on there.
well, remember that's the casual game, right? Call of Duty, Apex, Fortnite, right? Those games are the ones that everybody plays, right? And in fact, the majority of the players are right now on PlayStation, right? Because of that. Now, I don't know if that changes with Switch 2 because that's going to have all those games too. But we'll see what happens there. But yeah, they don't buy the other ones. They just don't, right? So, and yet there's a price of entry here. You have to pay the $50, $60, $70, whatever it's going to cost to get it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think they're going to pay the price. I don't think they care. There's such a hatred of Xbox games on the PlayStation side that I don't think they're going to care to do it. So now Indiana Jones, maybe they buy that one. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see.
By the
But
way,
because that is kind of up their alley, right?
I stopped the poll, 66 votes here. Are you upset that AC Shadows has been delayed? It is a resounding no, 80%. 80% of
Yeah.
you had said no, I don't give a crap. So,
Yeah.
dude,
You
I
probably
think
have
this,
asked, are you actually going to play this game at all?
dude, I think that this is gonna, I'm gonna play it because I like Assassin's Creed or this new
Yeah.
iteration of it. I know you
I'm not
don't,
playing
Hargeet, but I like it.
No,
But I know a lot of
I
people
liked
don't.
it up to a point, up to
Yeah.
Valhalla. Valhalla ended that series. I'm done. I am
Yeah.
all done.
But a lot of people out there just aren't going to play that. I think this is going to be the least played Assassin's Creed game. I think it's going to be one of the worst.
Yep.
In terms of
Yep.
how many people buy it. Nine Lives in the chat said, I played Marvel Rivals for an hour, then uninstalled it. It's really good. It's really good. It's like the best of Overwatch with Marvel characters. They have such a winning combination. And if you look at the statistics right now, especially the Steam charts, it's incredible what this game is doing. It is not just maintaining, it is growing substantially. And it's been out for what? A couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4, maybe a month? Like, it's been out a while, and it is continuing to grow. That is incredible. It's a really good game, but again, I'm not that good at it. So Mr. J in the chat says it's a skill issue with some people. It definitely is with me. I suck at it. And like, I go in there, and I'm like, oh shit, here comes Thor. I'm out of here, dead. So yeah, but it's a great game. It's a great game. Yeah. So you know what else Nate the Hate said? Nate the Hate also says that the Final Fantasy 16 is coming to Xbox, will be announced soon. And so is Remake. Final Fantasy Remake, finally, Remake! After how many years? It'll be coming this year. And supposedly, he says, Rebirth is coming next year to Xbox. So those of you waiting out for those games, if you're waiting out for those games on Xbox, they're coming. They're coming. So
See,
that'll be good.
see if they do. But yeah, and I don't know how well that'll do over here because people who wanted to play it probably already played it.
And that's the sad part, right? And that's why Square Enix has got to learn, man. Stop putting your games out day and date on one console. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
You complain every time you do it. You complain, hey, we don't like the sales numbers. We're not happy with it. Well, stop freaking putting it out on one platform. That doesn't make sense if you want to sell
the way
more.
It goes, right?
That's what Xbox has learned, right? They're putting stuff everywhere because they want that money.
Well, they're doing day-and-date PC at least, and like hopefully Square will do that at least. But I think they've learned that they're gonna do day-and-date everywhere. Because remember, there's also Switch, right? Like all those games also get locked off of Switch, off
too,
of PC. It's like, what? Why would you do that? Like
now we finally have a capable Switch. We're gonna have a capable
it's like you want to
Switch.
have all your customers, right? You want to get as many customers as possible for your games. They're a third-party publisher. They just need to like make sure that they put it everywhere. So hopefully they do that.
Actually,
forward.
Boba Fett Gaming brought up a good point in the chat concerning AC Shadows and it not doing too well. I don't think Mirage sold that well.
No.
He says he wouldn't be surprised if it does better than Mirage, and I probably agree with that now that I see it.
It may not be enough though, and we'll see. We will see where it ends up, right? And Mirage didn't have nearly the amount of controversy, so that is going to detract from it, no matter what you do.
And it also
went.
It also went backwards to. It was more like the originals than the new ones. And
Yeah,
as
which
much
I
as
loved, by
people
the way. I loved
no,
Mirage, but
I know, but as much as people bitch about this new Assassin's Creed, a lot of people like it. A lot of people prefer it. Because a lot of people say they prefer the old stuff, but when you look at the sales figures of Mirage, are they full of crap? Were they just blowing smoke? I don't know. I
all
don't
right,
know.
so if I look at the okay, so the like to dislike ratio on the Assassin's Creed Shadow trailer, 301,000 likes, 603,000 dislikes. And I'm sorry, but once you have that,
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
you can't really come back from it. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work. So it is going to get dogpiled, and it will probably not do well
If
financially. That's
if, if
just
what you're saying,
unfortunate, but it is what it is.
if what you're saying is true, then the new Naughty Dog game is not going to do well
Oh, it's in
at all.
terrible shape. Yeah, that Naughty Dog, it's a very bad ratio.
Yeah, it's not going
I
to
didn't
do
even
well.
see like the controversy, but apparently it pissed people off big time. And yeah, it's really bad right now. The ratio for that thing is
The
terrible.
sad part about it is
So
I kind of like the concept for the game. I kind of like,
yeah, like
what
hey,
they were.
I'll give this a chance. Like let's see what it is, right?
Yeah,
But
and,
nope.
and everybody else is like, hell no. And I get it. And
Yeah,
you
Oh
know,
yeah.
it's no good.
oh, thank you for being a member for 25 months, Biff. Biff Rinaldi. He says, I'm behind a few Assassin's Creed games, so I don't care when it comes out. Nice shirt, by the way. Oh, thank you. Old Pink Floyd shirt.
By the way, the ratio right now it's 102 to 279 for the intergalactic trailer. 102K likes, 279K dislikes.
Nice.
And again, it's very hard to get past that. Once that happens, it's very hard to come back. So I don't know of any game that's done it. So we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, so I'm kind of wrong here. Boba, listen to this. Assassin's Creed Mirage has seen impressive sales numbers, becoming Ubisoft's most successful release on new-gen consoles. So I think it did pretty well. It says by January 2024, they estimated the game had accumulated 5 million players and estimated 250 million in revenue. And that was January 2024. So it sold well. Sold well.
And hopefully the budget wasn't too bad for it because it wasn't a massive,
no, I don't think it
massive
was.
like 300-hour ridiculousness thing. So I like that game. It's like 40, 50 hours. It's right at the sweet spot of like good enough, right? Not too
Doesn't
large,
overstay its welcome.
not too short. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good enough. So that's where I would like to see them, like in that 30 to 50, 60 hour range. That's perfect. And it was all about stealth. It was all about background, not being in the forefront, which I just did not. Valhalla absolutely destroyed that franchise for me. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Was it because it was way too long for you? Is that it? Like it was just went on and on.
It's not even that it's way too long. The protagonist is literally going around to villages and looting and pillaging. And I'm like, dude, this is the absolute opposite of Assassin's Creed. Absolute opposite.
Well,
That
they
is
shouldn't
not
have
Assassin's
taken
Creed.
on a Viking protagonist because there is no Viking
Like,
protagonist.
come
They are
on.
Vikings were pretty much most Vikings.
It was horrible.
They were antagonists. They weren't protagonists at all.
Yeah, they were terrible. I'm like, what the heck is this? No, I don't want to. I don't want to play as this character. I hated it. I hated being that character. Not to mention, it was just over bloated. I think the main story is over 100 hours, and then if you want to do all the side shit, I spent like 200-300 hours in that game, and I didn't enjoy it. Odyssey, I enjoyed, by the way. Odyssey, you were kind of in the forefront, but you were a protagonist that you could actually relate to, and it was a good story, and it worked within that universe because you're like, oh, this is kind of the origins of what's going on. Cool, I get it, right? And that was very large. I spent more than 300 hours in that game, but the mythos was great. I didn't feel like I'm going around destroying people's lives.
Odyssey was just incredible.
It was great. And then
God, it was
I
so
give
good.
you Origins because of course it's the origin story, right? There is no Assassin's Creed. He's creating Assassin's. Okay, I get it. This is great. And it's all the Egyptian mythology. Like that was awesome. when it went to this, I'm like, dude, my character is an asshole that I would rather kill.
So
Like, can you just jump off now and die? Because I could not stand the character. I'm like, what is I no.
so
Like,
this is where some people who say this sort of thing in this particular game, they'll say, I don't like the murdering and pillaging and in Assassin's Creed.
come on.
But then they'll also say, oh, I love GTA 5. I love GTA 6, and basically
Totally different
running
setting.
around
It's a totally different
shooting,
setting.
pillaging and murdering. So
But it's a totally different setting, right?
yeah,
That's what you expect from that. Saints Row is not the equivalent of, Mafia, not the equivalent
oh,
of Halo. You
you
know what I
can't
mean?
even
They're very different
Saints
games.
Row. You can't even equate
But that's
Saints
the
Row
point,
2022
right?
to Saints Row back in the
With
early
that too.
2000s.
But
You can't
but
do
you see what I
that.
mean, right? They're different games, and you take them for what they are, right?
Yeah,
What I expect of Assassin's Creed is what they gave me, right? What they had, Altair
fair
and then
enough.
Ezio. And I'm expecting
I
that,
never
and then
thought about
suddenly this
that.
becomes just like, what is this?
You know,
Like if
I
they just
didn't
said,
think about
"Hey,
that,
we
but
have."
you're right. You're right. I played Valhalla and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time, but I never thought about the fact that we were playing as such an asshole. I never thought of that. You're right.
Right? Ezio's going around helping people,
Ivor was
all
an
in the
asshole.
background, and Eivor was just like, "I'm gonna go take that
Eivor, yeah.
village and sack them." Like, what? What?
We're just gonna take
And
everything.
I'm supposed to be the good guy? And
Wait,
like,
are we playing America the Simulator? Did I say that? Did
ooh,
I say that out loud?
ooh.
No.
Shots fired.
But seriously, I never thought about that aspect, but you're 100% right. Eivor was an asshole. Completely. Crazy. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, he wasn't a protagonist at all. I don't know. We'll see how well that does. Interesting thing going back to the Switch 2 is how he the other person that leaked this thing, I forgot his name, Lucia something. Anyways, he was talking about how Red Dead 2 was going to be one of the games that they announced with it. The fact that they're putting Red Dead 2 on a handheld like that is pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I know we get it now with the Steam Deck and stuff, but it's different when it's a standalone console slash, not a PC device. Anyway, I'm interested in seeing it on there. I am, just to see
Yep.
it, see how they work that out.
I'm gonna be excited for the games that come from Nintendo, right? Because that's an exclusives machine for me. Much like PlayStation was until I got rid of the PlayStation, because now I just play them on PC. But I'm just looking forward to their release of their first party games, and there's gonna be so many. I just can't wait. The 3D Mario already has me excited because apparently they spent all the money from the movie to make the game look like the movie. I can't wait to see what they make that look like. Right now, it's Nvidia's chance to shine. I can't wait to see what they do with it. So we'll see.
Roshan in the chat says, I have not played GTA or Mafia because I don't like debauchery. Man, it's going to be kind of hard to navigate the gaming scene. I guess there's a lot of games that don't have any of that. But Mafia, man, I love Mafia games. I love GTA games too. They're
Which, by the way, is also coming out this year.
Maybe.
Right. Well, it's scheduled for Mafia 4. It's scheduled for this year.
Yeah, I know. I still think it's going to be pushed back into 2026. I hope not, but I can see it. Outside of that stuff, if you have anything else to talk about, we can discuss it, but I have nothing else on the agenda.
Other ones. Gosh dang it. DICE Awards. DICE Awards have come out. I don't know if you saw the
No, I
awards
didn't see
list.
them.
Indiana Jones did get nominated for Game of the Year.
Wow.
Yes, which is why I'm so sad.
I'm actually not that surprised anymore because I'm just being honest with you guys. I've had friends outside of this community that are playing Indiana Jones and loving it, telling me how great it is and how I should be playing it. So
I'm telling you, you should play
it's
it.
no, no, no. I'm not putting it off. Well, I'm not putting it off forever, I should say. Right now, I'm just not in the mood to play anything else but PoE 2 right now. But I will definitely give it a try because I have too many people telling me how good the game is and how much I would like it because it's got a great narrative, it's got freaking good gameplay, just everything you want in a game. So,
Yep, yep.
yeah.
So yeah, Hellblade 2 and Indiana Jones got quite a few. I think Astro got quite a few. But yeah, so I think Indiana Jones tied Astro for a total number, I think, of awards, like 6 apiece.
Did Indy come out too late for the Game Awards? Was that what it
Yes.
was? That's what it
And
was.
that's why I was so
Stupid.
disappointed with that, right? That why the
Yeah.
heck you would put it out in December. It missed several awards because of that, different award shows. Because of that, it's like, come on, you know better, right? But this is what they do. They're just so dumb about these things.
I
But
know.
anyways, so it did at least make the Dice Awards. We'll see what the fact that it got nominated is enough, but it would be nice to get some awards, and get some recognition. But yeah, it is at least getting the recognition it should. So it's tying Astro with the total, like the top level of number of noms, which is great. That's great.
Yeah, real good.
So good for that game. Yeah, and I do think you should try it. It has like a Ubisofty feel, and you like Ubisofty games, but it does have a puzzle solving element to it, right? So it is an Indiana Jones game, right? So
Yeah, and of
the puzzles
course,
aren't that difficult though. It's not that bad. It's you'll figure it out. So
yeah, and
it's
of
it's
course, you
not
have the
they're
great
not
voice
crazy.
acting by Troy Baker, who does a
Boy, did such a good
phenomenal
job.
freaking job.
Did such a good job.
I honestly
Um,
like just listening to him do Indiana Jones voice, or what's his name, Harrison Ford,
Harrison Ford. Yeah,
sounds just like him, like a younger
yeah,
Harrison Ford.
so good, so
God,
good.
that's so good. That guy's incredible, man. Seriously, like I think Troy Baker is one of the best voice actors in the game. He's a
Hasn't won a
phenomenal.
game award yet, though.
He's amazing though, so amazing. Of course, he plays one of my favorite protagonists ever, Joel from The Last of Us. Yeah, he's so fantastic voice actor. Um, Mr. Eldrick in the chat says he finished Starfield DLC and says it was okay, but could have been better. That's the gist of what I get from a lot of people that have played it. They're just like, it was
No.
okay.
Yeah.
Not bad, not good, not great. I should say not bad, not great.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was big. What else did we get at CES? PlayStation showed up. Oh yeah, we had Jason Ronald. The whole thing with the portables, right? So SteamOS is now a thing, right? So SteamOS on a Lenovo Legion Go is happening. So that's official. And then Jason Ronald kind of hinted at what they're planning to do with Microsoft, with Windows. So it's going to be kind of a hybrid-y thing where it's Windows and Xbox merging. So that is kind of becoming more official. All the stuff that I've been talking about for years now, where they're going to take advantage of Windows and kind of merge the two together. That is kind of happening now. So we'll see what that means. But that's kind of what they're hinting at. So that was another thing that came at CES.
Somebody in the chat mentioned it. They said it was Bayside Junior. He says, speaking of voice acting at CES, did you all see the Stern D&D pinball machine? Yes, I saw it, and it looked pretty crazy. It looked pretty cool. He says it looks amazing. Did you see it, the pinball machine? D&D,
I did not.
Dungeons and Dragons. It's really cool. It had like dragons and stuff. It like in the pinball machine. I don't know. I like pinball. Pinball is one of those things that if I had a big home and I could afford machines, like I would have an arcade room and have pinball in there, arcade cabinets, all that stuff. Like definitely would have that. I miss that stuff.
Yeah, and then Sony showed up, but it was mostly about the car, and then changing, using their IP to go to movies and TV shows. So that's kind of what they detailed. But yeah, that's kind of
that transition.
what you got.
It seems like a lot of gaming is transitioning to TV shows and movies right now. You have the whole
At least on their side, right? That's what they've got to show you,
yeah,
right?
Microsoft. We talked about it last week how they kind of held off of that TV show that everybody's watching right now with the video games. They don't want Doom and
secret something.
Secret Level. That's
Secret
it.
Level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we talked about it and said it made sense for them because Doom is a big IP on its own. So is Halo.
Halo's a big IP. Yep.
Yeah, and they both have their respective, movie and TV adaptations that we've seen in the past, and they've done well.
Yep.
Halo's canceled, right? The TV show that was canceled. I think so.
So I think they're trying to find somebody else to publish the next season or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but
we'll see.
As far as Doom the movies, I'm not a big fan of those movies, but they
got
The
Rock in them, right?
Yeah.
I think they have The Rock in them, right? Yeah.
There's The Rock, yeah. Got anything else? If not, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know. Was there anything else at CES that was interesting?
No.
Gaming wise, I mean, there's plenty
graphic
of
cards.
Stuff,
yeah, of course. CES, we can talk about TV tech
AMD,
and all that
by
stuff.
the way, they talked about their CPUs and GPUs. Their GPUs aren't bad. They're not on par with the 50 series, but they're not bad.
Their GPUs are not going to go above and beyond like people thought they would be competing. They're not competing in that space.
Hey,
their CPUs
okay, right?
are really freaking phenomenal.
Their CPUs are awesome. The CPUs are great. So those are the 9950 X3D and 9900 X3D are coming out. So look for those. The 9800 X3D is already out, which is now I guess the top CPU for gaming. But yeah, so look for those, and those are coming out. The Z2 Extreme, which was announced with the Lenovo Go, I think the Lenovo Legion Go has that, is also coming out. So it's a bit better than the Z1 Extreme, which is in the ROG Ally, etc. Right? So hopefully that's a good CPU. We'll see what that does. But yeah, they had some nice announcements there as well. Nvidia, of course, had their 50 series, which was great. So it's lots of cool stuff, right? PC side, there was a lot of cool things. Xbox had the Jason Ronald thing, and then they had the LG announcement, right? LG will now have the Xbox app. So LG TVs will have the Xbox app, and then Nintendo were eminent.
They also talked. I saw this story or this video on YouTube that was talking about how FSR 4 for AMD was on the docket, but they pulled it last minute to announce it and talk about it. But some outlets found FSR 4 being displayed under a different name next to FSR 3.5 or whatever the iteration is right now, and they said it was markedly better than the current FSR, that it got rid of a lot of anomalies and stuff that was there present. And they were beyond disbelief that they canceled the showing of FSR 4, if that was indeed FSR 4, because they said it was incredible.
They might not have been ready, right? It's always just like, if you haven't done one of these shows, the prep work for that is 6 months. And it could be that they were scheduled to have something, it just didn't work out. And they're like, we're not going to show something that's going to be crappy. So we'll just pull it and we'll show it in a different showcase, right? It happens. Unfortunately, it happens, right? Yeah. But you don't want to have a bad showing, especially when your rival is showing off DLSS 4 with the RTX 50. You want to make sure you have a good showing. So I get it. It is what it is. Fine. They'll show it when they're ready. Fine, right? But if it's already looking good, that's awesome. But maybe they just didn't have the material ready to go. It happens. It's fine.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, Kim Lorson in the chat says, hello from Denmark. Hello from California and Boston. Hargeets in Boston. America.
It's like 1 a.m. over there, right? Jeez.
It's good to see people from all around the world. It amazes me when I look at analytics and I see that I have people listening from all over the globe, and it's like, wow. Like, I can just picture somebody like you know, in the Philippines, sitting there listening to us, and I'm just like blown away by that. It's awesome. Yeah, well, I want to thank everybody for coming out to the show today. Nothing else to really talk about here, but Hargeet, you can let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find your book and your freaking website, your YouTube, all that stuff, and where they can find you next on the podcast scene, because there's a lot of that. So let them know.
Yeah, right. So my channel, if you want to subscribe, Hargeet21 on YouTube. You can pick up my book, Emergence, shop.tiny.us. Check it out. And then yeah, I'll be on with Web Dave tomorrow, 7 p.m. US Eastern Time on Web Dave's channel. And then you can catch me after that on Boom's channel. It's Double Barrel Gaming. It's on Wednesday, 7 p.m. US Eastern Time for primetime gaming. Check that out.
Nice.
See you all later.
And with that said, I want to thank everybody for coming out today in the chat. Thank you, Kim, for coming out for listening at almost 1 a.m. in Denmark. If that is what time it is there, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Mr. Eldrick in the chat says 12:14 in the UK right now. So yeah, it's late. It's late. But thank you for listening. Thank you for coming out to the live show, and I want to thank everybody for listening after the fact on the streaming podcast apps. Thank you for listening. And as always, until next time, game on, everybody.